Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good morning. Wow, what a weekend. What a weekend we just had, folks. It's I'm just a little bit flabbergasted about the past weekend. And I got to tell you why really quick here. A lot is going on with Trump, obviously. A lot is going on with the lamestream media. And there's a lot going on with the Democrat Party. And these people are just going off their rockers. It's just unbelievable. Well, you know what? They have nobody to blame but themselves. And we'll get into that as the program rolls on this morning. Good morning. It is I, your lovable host, Rod, coming to you live this morning, this frosty, snow-covered morning here in somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, as I broadcast from the Bunker Eye studio. The call-in number this November the 21st in the year of our Lord 2016 is 603-835-3226. Again, that's 603-835-3226. Yeah, we got a dusting of snow overnight, and it stuck, which is really kind of surprising because the ground is not yet frozen, and it's sticking. That usually doesn't happen when it's not sticking on paved areas, but because that always takes a little bit longer for that stuff to happen, but. For the ground, when it's not frozen, it still has heat, obviously, and it's sticking. Yeah, okay. Mother Nature does what she wants. Just another show that says that Mother Nature does what Mother Nature wants to do. Damn the rules, as we decide that the rules are. Mother Nature is going to make her own rules, and she does this constantly. Yeah, this global warming stuff is it's just unbelievable. Anyway, got some stuff on global warming. But starting off from the paper pile this morning, Harry Reid this is kind of connected. Harry Reid says that Trump will destroy the world. Yeah, is this guy going to go away anytime soon? I know he said he's going to retire. When is that? Do we got to put up with this buffoon for another 2 years? Really? I mean, it's asinine, folks. If you think that Harry, this is where it's from. Constitution.com. By the way, evidently on Constitution.com, you can win a Trump truck. There we go. Said it. Trump truck. I don't know what that is. Maybe it's a truck that says Trump on it. Evidently, there have been vehicles that have had the Trump and Trump Pence for 2016 bumper stickers on them have been vandalized all over the country. Yeah, hey, wonderful, all accepting, open-minded liberals are out there damaging people's personal property. Why? Simply because they disagree with your politics. Can I remind the left of something? That's one major reason wars get started. There are two major wars have gotten started three major reasons that wars have gotten started in man's history. One, everybody knows, religion. Another one, and these are in no particular order, but another one is, believe it or not, over a woman. Yeah, kingdoms have gone to war over a woman before. More often, if you go back and look at history, that has happened more often than you might think. It's amazing. The so-called love and lust for a particular one. You get two guys who have got some power because they're chieftains or kings or what have you, and they decide to go fight for this. And, of course, a lot of other people die while they fight it out. But, yeah, that's a second big reason. And a third reason is differences in politics. Hell, we had 2 world wars that were fought over because of differences in politics. We had, 50 or 60 years of Cold War, nuclear proliferation because of differences in politics. And you guys on the left are supposed to be peace-loving. Now, isn't that where the peacenik movement came out of? It came out of the Democratic left, right? Peace, love, and understanding, and flower children, and all that kind of stuff. Whatever happened to the peace, love, and understanding on your part? I'm just wondering. I mean, this is far. People are going to start getting seriously hurt. I'm not talking about the people in the property that these leftist protesters are causing. I mean, some of them are going to start to be seriously hurt and even killed if they don't knock it off. Now, I'm not advocating this, but it is inevitable. People are getting tired of this stuff. They're getting tired of putting up with it. They're getting tired of these temper tantrums. These people, people on the right and even moderates, they go out to work every day. They don't have time for this kind of nonsense. I mean, it's actually been kind of incredible. It hasn't been a lot, but there's been a few. Few people who have, sort of bitched me out and unfriended me on Facebook because I supported and voted for Donald Trump. I mean, really? And you're supposed to be an adult. How childish is that? You didn't vote for who I wanted you to vote for, so you're not my friend anymore. Do they even know what friendship is? It is absolutely. I am beside myself. I walk around nowadays with my mouth agape at the sheer intolerance and stupidity of the left. I mean, look, I've known that these people have always been nuts. Michael Savage is right he's the first person I heard say this, that liberalism is a mental disorder. Now, some people, and I did too at first when I first heard it, thought it was funny. But I've come to realize I think he's dead accurate. There's something wrong with these people. Mentally. They're mentally unstable. And I am in awe of the sheer idiocy that these people can foist upon the rest of us. It's absolutely incredible. I don't even know where they could even begin to get these types of ideas that they have. I mean, where did this notion for safe spaces and crying in the middle of the street, blocking traffic because your candidate of choice didn't win? Look, this goes beyond the participation generation. All the millennials, they got trophies for just showing up and participating in something. And it goes beyond that. There's something else involved here. There has to be. I mean, we have just, folks, I really hate to tell you, we have really, in this country, we have really screwed up an entire generation. Thank you very much, baby boomers. You did. You have royally effed up an entire generation. It's just, you can't even control your own kids. Well, that's because, this is maybe there's one thing that they will understand. Since this is the timeout generation, because you're not allowed to spank your kids anymore, right? So, the millennials, they weren't spanked. They were put in timeout. Well, maybe it's time we put them in timeout again. Maybe we should put them in a 4-year timeout. It's kind of hard because you have so-called leaders out there. You got Elizabeth Warren walking around before Trump even gets in office. Oh, I thought they were willing to work with us. Elizabeth Warner is now walking. Pocahontas is walking around out there. And by the way, we shouldn't call her Pocahontas because that's an insult to the real Pocahontas. Seriously, she's walking around now, talking about how she's going to fight and oppose Donald Trump every day. You don't even know what he's going to... Yeah, so we know some of what he said he wants to do, but you don't know what he's going to do really and how he's going to do it. But you're already saying that you're going to oppose him. Whatever it is, you're going to oppose him. Harry Reid says Trump will destroy the world. Yes, those are the words he used. He says Trump will destroy the world. Now, I don't know how Trump is going to do that. I guess maybe they think that Trump is a new Ronald Reagan and he's going to put his finger on the nuclear button, and one day Trump is going to get mad and not because he didn't get his way, and he's going to put his finger on the button. That's not the way it works. The president of these United States is not a potentate. He doesn't have all that kind of power. He just can't decide one morning when he wakes up and says, "Oh, I think I'm going to blow up the world today." That's not the way it works. The problem is that they know it. They know that's not how it works, and that's not going to be a plausibility. But here it is on Constitution.com. Harry Reid may not have much time left before he retires, but he's been taking to the Senate floor frequently after the election to proclaim his distaste for the president-elect. He said he felt he had to say something because of all the hate crimes that had been committed immediately following Trump's victory. Yeah, Harry, your liberal minions are the ones running around out there committing all the hate crime. Donald Trump wins, your people go freaking nuts, and it's Donald Trump's fault? I mean, I cannot tell you, I have never, I have seen people, do the, what's the term? Lay the blame at somebody else's feet. But this is, you know what? This is now the best time in history. I am sure this is the best time in history to become a mental health professional. because you have a lot of potential clients out there. I mean, a lot. This is probably the best time to invest in pharmaceutical companies that develop and manufacture and market psychoanalytic drugs. You know, the kind of drugs, like Ritalin and stuff. Yeah, I'd buy into some of those because there's going to be a lot of prescriptions written over the next few years. I'm not kidding. These people have totally lost their minds. Okay, so Donald Trump wins. He's a Republican and he wins the presidential race. Liberal lefty Democrats then run out into the streets for days on end and start destroying everything. And Harry Reid, a liberal Democrat leader in the Senate, blames Trump for that. Well, Harry Reid, Senator Reid, might I remind you about half the voting population that voted for Trump. So I guess half the country's at fault? Because they're the ones that it's not the fault of those who are actually doing the looting, rioting, pillaging, damaging, harming. It's not their fault. No, it's not their fault. Really? No? Seriously? I often wonder how these people actually sleep at night. How do they go to sleep at night? Oh, I almost forgot. When they go home, after they've caused so much public civil unrest, they smoke a joint, probably pop a Xanax, and drift off into slumber. That's it. That's how you do it, folks. That's how you do it. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
703-835-3226. That is the number to call should you wish to join me here live here on the Rod Eccles Show this Monday morning. Monday Madness. I have noticed that there are quite a few companies that are actually closing this Thanksgiving. They're not opening on Thanksgiving for their Black Friday, early Black Friday stuff. Walmart is still opening at 6 p.m. on Thursday night. And if you go, shame on you. I'm just saying, look, it's a holiday. And it's a very revered holiday. At least it should be. This is, Thanksgiving is the forgotten holiday. I mean, it's skipped over so often. It's almost as if it's not even it's just a bump in the road. I mean, I'm not trying to get religious here on people, but let's think about this for a second. The holidays that have reverence, that show respect and thankfulness towards our Father in heaven and our founding fathers here in this country, those holidays are on the decline. And people are trying to change their, Christmas is no longer Christmas. It's winter holiday. It's just holiday. It's not Christmas. And don't say Merry Christmas. Say Happy Holiday. Happy Holiday. Well, how about Merry Christmas? Thanksgiving. What do we do for Thanksgiving? Thanksgiving was meant to give thanks for the providence of this nation. That's what the proclamation by Abraham Lincoln was for. Instead, and of course, Easter just doesn't really exist anymore. I mean, sure, you got the Easter egg roll on the White House lawn, but even the press doesn't even like covering that anymore. It's just been, Easter's been pushed aside. And I know that a lot of Christian churches and denominations have tried to change the name to Resurrection Sunday, but that probably made it worse, to tell you the truth. Not that it's their fault, because that's really what it is. But by trying to make it what the holiday what it really is, has just ticked off the left like you would not believe. So Easter has been shoved aside. The 4th of July. Oh, you are not supposed to celebrate the birth of this nation. Yeah, it's fine to get together for a weekend and barbecues and fireworks and all that kind of stuff. But don't ever think that it's about celebrating, the birth of the United States of America, this evil country. No. That's not, you better not do that. Christmas, well, we know. Christmas is it was a pagan holiday first. The only holiday that seems to be getting any type of mention and acceptance, strangely enough, is Halloween. You think about that. All the godly holidays are being tossed aside, where the, shall we say, less than godly holidays are being brought to the fore. What's going to be next? Are we going to start nationally celebrating Ramadan? I mean, even Hanukkah tried to make an appearance around. It was always second fiddle to Christmas, but now there's Hanukkah decorations out there and Hanukkah gift wrapping paper and such. It tried to break its way through to become a quote unquote real holiday, but now, all of a sudden, we're told that, no, we should celebrate Ramadan and Kwanzaa. Forget Hanukkah and Christmas. It's just the winter solstice holiday. But hell, let's bring hell to earth by celebrating Halloween in all its, debauchery. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind costumes and stuff like that, but sometimes just they decorate their houses more than they decorated for Christmas. They've got Halloween lights now. Think about that for a second. Now we celebrate evil and we hate good. Thanks, liberals.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
603-835-3226. Use it. You can even try to abuse it. Expressing your opinion is not abusing anything because, you know what we do here on the right? We may not agree with you, but we welcome your differing opinion. I do. I like listening to different opinions, and I don't always agree with people. But by listening to other people, letting them talk and get their opinion out. I mean, it's not often, but there have been times when I've gotten new information that has caused me to modify my position. So, that's what the whole free exercise of free speech and free expression of ideas is all about. Because when we can communicate openly with one another, we eventually come up with better ideas, better ways of doing things. We can get better government. In other words, we can have better towns, better neighborhoods, better cities, better states, a better country. When everybody is free to express their opinions. You don't get there by stifling one side because you don't like what they say. It's funny how the left, you can't move ahead. You can't move society ahead if you're just sitting around only wrapped around a bunch of people who think like you do. Because you're not going to come up with anything new. The pot isn't going to get stirred and everything's going to be copacetic and you're going to think, well, this is the way it's always... Isn't that what people say? Well, that's the way it's always been done. Well, maybe. Well, first of all, that's actually a false statement because that's not the way it's always been done. It's the way it's been done most recently. And probably most often, doesn't mean it's the best way. Let me give you a quick example that everybody can understand, including the dodo heads over on the left. We got electricity, and then we got the light bulb. Thanks to Edison, we got the light bulb. Now, are people trying to rewrite history on that too? I thought I saw somewhere at one point back in the summer that they were questioning whether or not Edison actually invented the light bulb first. I know. I was just asking. Maybe I didn't. Maybe it wasn't Edison. Maybe it was something else. Maybe it wasn't about the light bulb. It could have been something. Anyway, Edison invented the light bulb. So we had light at night. Without flame. The light bulb was flameless. Do you realize that some people at first thought it was evil magic? Really. There were some groups of people, some religious sects, that claimed that electricity and light bulbs were of the devil. It was evil. Why? Well, because man has always used fire for light. Flame. And now there was no flame, and yet they were getting light. That they couldn't see the source, because you can't see electricity, obviously. They couldn't see the source. When you have a lamp or a lantern or a torch or fire or something, anything with fire, you can see the source. But you can't see the source of power for a lit light bulb. So it was devil's work. It was witchcraft. But we have people that decided, for ages and ages, years and years and years and years, the incandescent light bulb, with brief modifications here and there, that was the way you lit things. Incandescent. And then somebody decided, maybe we can do it this way instead. And then neon came along, and then fluorescent, and then we got these fluorescent compacts, and now we've got LEDs, and all because people decided that they wanted to collaborate and talk about how to do things, how to make better light. Sure, there might have been, there was obviously in latter cases, compact fluorescents and LEDs. There was this whole, save the planet type of thing. But hey, look, there was something good that came out of that discussion. More efficient, longer lasting light bulbs. Regardless of whether or not we need to save the planet by reducing the electricity that we use to power our lights, everybody who uses an LED benefits from it. Well, mainly in a lower electric bill every month. But none of that would have happened if only Edison kind of people only talked about Edison kind of technology. Somebody else had to come along with a different kind of opinion, a different idea, and say, let's do it this way instead. That's how it works. But you've got these leftists who don't want to hear different ideas. They don't want to hear anything new. They think they're so enlightened that they've got the answer to everything. That somehow, magically, just by, leftists only talking to other leftists who talk to other leftists, somehow they can create utopia. Without anybody else. No differing opinion. Everybody knows that they're right. That's what they think. It doesn't matter if the facts or if science or anything else that is logical says otherwise. They're still right, and they now want to shut you up. And the fact is that the American people have rejected this kind of close-minded thinking. Yes, I said close-minded for the liberals. Americans all across this country have rejected that kind of close-minded thinking. How? Well, for starters, Democrats have the fewest has the fewest number of seats across this country in seats of power than since the 20s. Call this, I don't know, you may want to call it, maybe this Trump election is another form of Emancipation Proclamation. Now understand that after the Civil War, Democrats, even in the South, were being thrown out of office left and right. They were. And then by the time Woodrow Wilson got through screwing things up, and with World War I, Americans had had enough of the Democrats. And then they slowly started building up again. By the way, as a side note, has anybody noticed that we've had 2 world wars in 1 century, and both times a Democrat was in office? And yet the Democrats are worried about Trump? Anybody ever think about that? A Democrat got us started in Vietnam. Anybody think about that kind of stuff? And yet they want to blame Bush for Iraq. Well, 3 major conflicts that have cost this country the most blood and treasure, Democrats were in office. Think about that. I just brought it for us, and just thought that was a little interesting. But people, they don't want to hear anything different. I don't know if they're just so arrogant to think that they're right and anybody else's opinion would possibly prove them to be wrong, and they can't take being wrong. I guess that may be it. What's that saying? That funny saying? You know, people who think they know everything are very annoying to those of us who actually do. You know, so those people on the left that think that they're right are very annoying to those of us on the right because we do know more than they do. And notice how the left is very condescending. Oh, Trump, you know, white, non-college educated white males voted for Trump. So in other words, they just said all you non-college educated people are stupid. That is exactly what they're saying. You didn't go to college, so you can't be very smart. You got to be dumb. At the same time, they have all these liberal giant businesses run by giant liberals, and a lot of their founders and current CEOs or you know, COOs either didn't go to college or dropped out of college. Facebook, anybody? Did Zuckerberg ever go back to and get his degree from Harvard? I don't think he did. Doesn't really matter, but the whole point is that he still dropped out. I just think it's amazing. And then you got people like Harry Reid running around saying that Trump is going to destroy the world. What is he afraid of? That he'll finish the job that 3 Democrat presidents tried to do and couldn't accomplish? Rod, World War II was not about Democrats destroying the right. Look, I understand how World War II came about, and I understand how World War I came about. What I'm saying is that they were Democrats who were presidents at the time that all that happened. And understand this: Hitler came to power under a U.S. Democrat president. Plain and simple. FDR and Chamberlain allowed Hitler to come to power. That's the historical fact. That's the historical record. And we're supposed to believe that Ronald Reagan and Donald Trump are too much alike. They're warmongers. Wait, wasn't Hillary involved in some war stuff too? Yeah, I think so. Called Libya. Uh-huh. So when Harry Reid is out there saying that Trump is going to destroy the world, you know what he's giving rise to? He's giving rise to all these little leftists, snot-nosed little Neanderthals running around the streets instead of getting a job or finishing their college education like good little boys and girls. They're running around destroying property and hurting people. And Harry Reid is giving them cause to do so. Because Trump is so bad and so evil, he's got to be stopped. You know, law and order is just so bad. Anarchy is the cause of the day. That's the way you do things is through through the system of anarchy. If you can't force people to vote the way you want them to vote, well, then you're going to threaten them with violence and destruction. I think what they underestimated is American people's resolve to stand up against this kind of crap and still vote the way they want to vote and vote their conscience anyway. And in the end, what you're going to have is a bunch of liberal mamby-pambies are going to be the ones that are going to suffer the most and end up getting hurt. And our court system is going to be jammed with a bunch of liberals who were arrested for not protesting, but for causing havoc And Harry Reid is enabling that kind of behavior. For instance, over this past weekend, another 4 police officers were shot. 1 was killed and 3 were wounded. Now also understand, you have all these cops on the streets, not because of Bush, but because of Bill Clinton. Remember his 100,000 cops on the street, new cops on the street? Remember his crime overhaul legislation that he pushed for and signed into law that started to put more and more people behind bars? Mostly for drug offenses like pot. And now you got all these wonderful lefties talking about how Republicans won't let them smoke pot. It was Bill Clinton who started putting them in jail just for smoking it. And so now the liberal left wants to complain about all the police on the streets. There's too many and they're all corrupt. Well, Bill Clinton put them on the street. It's amazing how often things that get screwed up in this country, that get blamed on the right, are really the idea of the left. And then they complain when somebody wants to hold them accountable for that kind of crap. I know, I'm Slick Willie. I did a good one. Yeah, I put 100,000 more cops on the street so they can go around harassing people. So you could be real mad at them. And then what happened? Oh, I love it. You go and blame Republicans. I couldn't have planned it better myself. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
I am in awe at how much the right is blamed for what the left actually does. And of course, if you tell these minds full of mush exactly that, they'll look at you like you got two heads. And then, of course, they'll start crying and accuse you of being a bigot and a racist and a homophobe and a sexist. And what else is there? A climate change denier. And what else they got? You're Christian, right-wing Christian zealot and a Zionist. And the list goes on and on. I think it's quite telling. They screw things up, blame somebody else, and then when the person that they're blaming actually tries to fix it to make them happy, they go bazonkers. I mean, they go absolutely ape you-know-what. So let me get this straight. Well, for example, let's look at Obamacare really quick. Hey, yeah, Obamacare is going to be cheap. I promise you that. Going to save $2,500 a year on families, on average. Or some silly notion like that. Price goes up. All these young minds full of mush, they turn 27 and now they get kicked off their parents' plan. They got to pay for their own health care. It costs them an arm and a leg. They can't find a job, they claim. And the jobs they do find won't help them pay for that health insurance. And yet when Trump says, well, we're going to fix that, they want to try to block him. Look, you can't afford it. We know, but it's not our fault. Well, yeah, it is. It is your fault. No, it's those evil insurance companies, Rod. They're ripping us off. Yeah, I've heard that more than once. Well, then why don't you introduce competition? Oh, that won't work. Oh, you mean like it didn't work for, homeowners insurance, life insurance, and car insurance? It won't work that way? No, because health insurance is different, Rod. You just don't understand. You don't know. Well, whoa. Yeah, it will work. Competition always works. It works everywhere. You eventually get better service for a cheaper price. Competition, when you allow it, always works. So we try to fix their mess, and they want to blame us for their mess, and then block us from trying to fix it. I'm just sitting here waiting for the day when somebody starts blaming Donald Trump for the Obamacare screw up. Hey, don't doubt they're going to do that, folks. You better be ready. And then Donald's going to try to fix it by repealing. God, I hope he doesn't try to replace it, but he's going to try to repeal it. But they're going to blame him before he actually gets a chance to repeal it for Obamacare going sky high through the roof where nobody can afford it. Yeah, well, I'm just telling you right now, don't ever doubt me.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness.
Get some rear security.
From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots. Toys,
Since 1947,
toys,
the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge. Welcome back. It is your lovable host, L. Rod, the Truth Hammer, the Lightning of Truth. Yeah, that's a new one. The Lightning of Truth. Thank you very much for all those wonderful acronyms. But here I am once again this Monday morning, November the 21st in the year of our Lord 2016, broadcasting from the Bunkerized studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die, did not change over the weekend. And I'm thinking now that we've elected a Sununu as governor, Republican, conservative, that at least for the next 2 years, we will not be changing that. We here in New Hampshire, we elect our governor for only a 2-year stint, which is really kind of interesting because budgets are done biannually. So a budget is done once every 2 years. Yeah, so a governor gets a crack at one budget. I know it seems like these guys would always be perpetually in campaign mode, but believe it or not, they're not. I was rather surprised when I first moved here, and I realized that and found that out. We don't have a long campaign process here within the state. It just doesn't last that long. So they're not continually. But downside is every 2 years we got to elect a governor. The upside is that if we don't like that person in the governor's office, they don't get 4 years to screw things up. They only have 2. Maybe that's the way the House of Representatives works every 2 years. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the way the Senate should work too. It's a little difficult for the president to be that. Depending on who the president is, 4 years is too long, and for others it wasn't long enough. So we have to take the good with the bad. In any case, call-in number this morning is, as it always is, 603-835-3226. Glad that you are with me. This is holiday week. This is Thanksgiving week. And I think we got a lot to be thankful for this year, especially, the Republicans taking over gubernatorial seats all over the country and state houses being controlled by Republicans, and Donald Trump actually got elected. And here to tell us more about that wonderful news, we have Representative Baldazaro. How are you doing this morning? It is. I think there's a lot of optimism. There's a much lighter mood to most of the country. I mean, of course, you still have the media out there showing the negative part with all the little minds full of mushes running around trying to destroy things. But I think a lot of people are starting to look positive.
To Democrats and Republicans in my district, they're tired of the attacks that are going on. The people made a decision. They selected Donald Trump, They've got to give him an opportunity, just like they did Obama. Give him an opportunity.
You know, that is one of the things that I think is going to happen is that they're going to, you know, Obama doesn't get blamed for anything. You know, Obama blamed Bush for 6 years. And now for the last 2 years of his presidency, what we're going to get is it's going to be Donald Trump's fault because he didn't give Obama's policies a chance to work.
Well, you know, 8 years to make those things work, and nothing's worked. Now, the only good thing he could walk out and said he did, he got Osama bin Laden. That's the only thing. And that was the Navy SEALs that did that.
Yeah, and well, one of the things that we're looking at now is Trump's cabinet is starting to form. And, of course, you know, you got the lamestream media out there. Yeah, his transition team is in disarray, and they're behind the eight ball. And I'm looking at all the appointments that he's made already and the people that he's narrowing down. He's no farther behind than any other president.
No, you know, he's actually ahead of the game than any other president candidate. But, you know, the nice thing about it, he's hiring warriors, okay, that they have the interests of the country first. And they weren't people that donated money looking for jobs, high-ranking jobs. So it makes a big difference in our country.
And I think each individual state is going to feel that. In some states, it's going to be negative because Jeff Sessions is already. I have this this morning on my paper pile. It's reported that Sessions is saying that, you know, if he's Attorney General, he's going to prosecute sanctuary cities.
I agree. It's against the federal law. Obama turned his back on federal law, okay? And people aren't aware of the Immigration Act of 62 and 52, I think it is. There's two of them. But anyways, it discusses that we have the right to ban groups that want to overthrow our government. Whether you like it or not, these people, okay, these radical Islamists want to overthrow our government. Wake up, America.
You know, I mentioned earlier this morning that it seems like the Democrats have done a lot of this stuff. I mean, Democrats resided over three of our most major wars that we've had, World War I and II, as well as the Vietnam War. They were the ones that were in charge when all that stuff happened. And you have Democrats who you know, mentioning banning certain groups. Well, it was FDR that, you know, interned all of the Asian Americans. It was FDR who booted out most of the German immigrants that were not born citizens here at the time. And it was Carter who banned Iranians from coming into the country after they took over. And now all of a sudden Trump says, well, you know, we're going to stop all these people from coming here until we can vet them properly. And you would think the sky was falling.
But you know the big thing about this, most Americans support what Donald Trump is saying. You've got a minority right now that are running their lips. They've got nothing better to do. The people that are out there protesting, they're either students that didn't vote or people that are afraid that they're going to be kicked out of our country that aren't even working. They should be working, not protesting. They should be wanting to make America great again. I don't understand these people. What's wrong with them?
You know, closer to home, we have, I know this is a national program, but closer to home, we have elected Chris Sununu, a Republican governor, and he's only one of a select few of Republicans that have held that office in the past 20 years. What do you think his chances of success in the state and turning things around?
I think he's going to be very successful. Just to give you an idea, I mean, constitutional carry we passed twice and it got vetoed. We passed a law to get rid of the same-day registration because the college students from all over the country are throwing off our elections in New Hampshire. And we put in a 30-day, registration, and that got vetoed by the governor. We are finally going to get some good bills passed that are going to continue with the liberty here in New Hampshire and focus on jobs and tax cuts for businesses so we can attract more people to get them to work and get them off welfare.
Yeah, one of the things I think is a problem, and it's not just here in New Hampshire. There are a number of states that are facing this dilemma, is the so-called, not necessarily brain drain, but age drain. Younger people are not staying in their home states right now. They're moving to places like New York City. They're moving to places like Texas and California in order to find work. Do you think that Chris Sununu, who is not old, what is he? He's only like 42. He's rather young.
Yeah, he's young.
Do you think he can reverse some of that?
I think it can. I honestly believe if we can somehow, get with our PUC, Public Utilities Commission, and drop electric rates, and we can get a better business tax deduction, we can attract businesses to come into New Hampshire. It's a no-brainer to move to New Hampshire because we have no sales tax. We're voted the safest state in the country. We're voted the most liberty state in the country. Why would you not want to have a business in New Hampshire and you'd be making more money?
Yeah, I mean, you could definitely benefit from the educated force down below us in Massachusetts because they have a sky-high sales tax down there, which I can never understand. Why would you raise your sales tax when you border a state that doesn't have one? But that's how liberals roll, I guess. They expect everybody
Rod,
who's going to.
I live in a conservative town in Londonderry, New Hampshire. About 93% of the students in the high school go on to college. About 3% go into the military, and then the rest either go into the construction trades or the trade schools there. It's a no-brainer here in New Hampshire. But the thing is, the jobs just aren't here. We've got a lot of college-educated people working in restaurants and other areas. I have 7 kids. My daughter just bought a house in Derry, New Hampshire. She has to drive to Massachusetts to work to make the good money. My wife drives to Massachusetts, to work. And she's got a computer science, degree. We need to attract these more jobs in New Hampshire to keep our young here.
We do. When I first moved to New Hampshire, I ended up working in Boston. I know the drill, because there were fewer job opportunities for high-paying jobs here in this state, and I think that's what a lot of people do. They go into Boston. Well, that clogs our roads, and now we see that we're spending hundreds of millions of dollars upgrading our highway system in New Hampshire just to accommodate all the people going to and from Massachusetts. And yet, does Massachusetts still want to put toll roads up at the border?
No, we actually squelched that. I was one of the reps that went to Massachusetts. Matter of fact, Scott Brown was a state senator then. When we got together with other reps there and New Hampshire reps, and we put a stop to it. We threatened the governor, on some issues there, and, she backed off, and then the governor at the time backed off. So we don't want tolls on 93. We already have one, that helps us repair our roads.
Yeah, that is true.
If you look at New Hampshire roads compared to any other state in the country, our roads are pretty good. We got some old bridges, we got, that aren't in compliance with federal law, but those bridges, little by little, we're funding them to be repaired. Yeah,
I've driven a lot on different places of the country, and I got to tell you, New Hampshire, that's one of the things that first impressed me when I first came here was how good the roads were in comparison to New York and Massachusetts. So I don't know why people think we have bad roads, because we don't. Get out of the state and drive around.
Well, that, of course, that's the liberals, because they think by us keep spending more and more money of taxpayers' money that, it's going to be a great, great world. They're crazy, these people, because the taxpayers, there's only so much money going around. Eventually you run out of other people's money. You take away their quality of life every time we vote in a tax. In 10 years, I haven't voted on one tax or one fee to raise, because I believe that we live within our means, just like you do in your home.
I wish more people in government thought that way. Hey, what is on your agenda now that you've helped successfully get Trump into office?
Well, I'm waiting to see. I mean, I really don't have that much of an interest in going to Washington, D.C. I'm happy being a state rep. I'm happy because, I've got some medical issues for my time in the Marine Corps, so I'm in and out of the VA. So I'm just happy that Trump is going to fight and take care of veterans. That's my number one priority, along with national security and immigration. And I believe he's the man to do the job.
I definitely believe so, too. I hope so, too. I know you got to run, and I got to take a hard break here. But I got to have you back on, because I would like to discuss things going on with the VA and what Trump might be looking to do to try to fix some of that, because that's close. That plays close to my heart, the VA.
Oh, definitely. If you go to his site at donaldtrump.com, look at his VA plan. I actually helped him write his original plan, and a lot of what we put in there is in his 10-point plan, that he later on redid it.
All right, there you go. Representative Baldessaro out of Londonderry, New Hampshire. Thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy day, sir.
All right, have a great Thanksgiving, Rod.
You too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay,
we'll be right back, folks.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in the pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help. Just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzzed driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzzed driving, because buzzed driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0 Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
You know, the Donald Well, I can't call him the President Donald yet, because he has yet to be inaugurated. So I guess he's still the Donald, because it's just too much to say the President-elect Donald. The Donald is actively putting together his cabinet at a fast and furious rate, and it looks like he may have come up with his pick for Secretary of Defense. And that is a retired U.S. Marine general by the name of James Mattis, Mattis. Mattis is, well, he's known as a no-nonsense kind of general. Also, he's been called a general's general. Much like General Norman Schwarzkopf. Schwarzkopf was a no-nonsense kind of general. He was also known as a general's general and an enlisted man's general. Now, these are guys that don't micromanage. They understand that the people that are under their command are well trained in the jobs that they're trained to do. Well trained. And oftentimes, they also understand that our men and women of the U.S. military have to work miracles with shoddy equipment that they have. Now, I know some people say, well, how is that possible? The military doesn't have shoddy equipment. You want to bet? And these men and women on a daily basis work miracles to make this stuff work, to get to accomplish their mission goal. They do it every single day. Now, this guy, retired Marine General James Mattis, there's a lot of people, except for the left, of course, have high praise for this guy. He's a fantastic pick. And if Trump actually, names him as his appointment for the Defense Department as Secretary of Defense, Trump is naming people in his talk. Yeah, sure, he's throwing out a few crumbs out there. I don't think that Mitt Romney is going to be Secretary of State. He's got to throw some people, the moderates a bone every now and then. Trump is no fool. But so far, as Representative Baldessaro said, he's appointing people who are willing to go to war on, battle. They're going to battle for conservative ideals and bring this country back to its conservative roots. And for those of you on the left, you may think that I'm wrong about the conservative roots. Look, the founders, as we would call conservatism, were conservative. The Constitution is about as conservative as you can get. You may want to say that they were not Christians and that kind of. I've heard that all a lot. Oh, the founders weren't Christians; they were deists, which is actually a lie. They were not deists. They were most of them were Christians. But okay, maybe they weren't exactly what you would call a Christian today. That might be true. But what you cannot say is that they were liberal. They were very conservative. Just look at the Constitution that they wrote. Just look at how they governed in the first century of this country's existence. You want to talk about conservatism. If you want to teach conservatism and what it really is and what it really means, why don't you go back to the first 50 to 65 years or so of this country, and that is your example of conservatism from the founding fathers themselves.
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes two. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all, the few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
Welcome back, 603-835-3226. We're here for you. Well, I'm here for you. Not the other way around. I do appreciate that you are tuning in. Let's go to the phones. Been fast and furious on the phones lately this morning. So let's take a call here. 850, you're next on the Rod Eccles Show. What you got?
Al, all the sorrow. You know, that's a man who's in the trenches. And Bannon is absolutely correct. And what he said was that the elites had created a middle class in Asia at the detriment of America. And, you know, when Bill Gates started moving his call centers into India, I don't know if I've spoken to you about that before, but the frustration that Americans would feel talking to someone in India did not help our relationship with the everyday people on the street. And, you know, if you had a call center in the Philippines, it might hurt our relationships there. As you can see, these things have implications on a global scale. But the fact is that those people that are in New Hampshire and probably suffering from slower than average internet speeds have been precluded from doing any kind of call work from their home for, say, you know, you could do call center work from within your home because we have the ability to do that in America. But it wasn't to be because the people who ran it, and here's Bill Gates, creating a middle class in Asia, and his parents both worked for Planned Parenthood, and he's the author of Common Core with the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's a massive problem.
You know, you're right about the internet. I have often complained about the internet in this country. You know, we like to think that we're the top shit. Excuse my French there, but we like to think that. But when it comes to when it comes to high tech stuff like that, we're not the end all be all, the tops. I mean,
I believe Nairobi's got faster internet than my dirt road here in Florida.
Well, you know, the interesting thing is that we hear about how expensive it is here, and it is. Internet access in this country is rather expensive, and then the government wants to step in and say, well, we want to, you know, buy internet for poor.
That's exactly where Al Gore went to work. Wasn't it? He was going to make sure that every child had access and everything like that. Only the access they wanted was for his bull crap.
Yeah, well, and the reason why it is so expensive and it is so slow really is due to government regulation. Government for a long time had government-sponsored monopolies. And to a degree, we still have monopolies in internet service because for most people, they get their internet through their cable provider. Well, their cable provider, believe it or not, one of the last bastions of government-sponsored monopolies is your cable company. They have to go into these communities, towns, cities, what have you, and they have to bid on something called a franchise, which is not really a franchise, but that's what they call it.
Well, that's kind of how it's set up in some places like that. But let me tell you something, Rod. That's the kind of work that I used to do. I was a lineman. I got hired by AT&T back in 1978. I was one of the first 3 white people hired. Like, they hadn't had a white person hired in like 7 or 8 years. And we were an anomaly because we were all, veterans at that time. And cable TV was always a bunch of bandits when they would come in and when they would sell people and so on and so forth. They had a lot of what you would call traveling trash, people moving along, making the sale, throwing the cable up, putting a drop on the house, running to the next one. All substandard work. And there was no regulation on cable TV. They did some really trash work. And they were a danger and a detriment. They'd set up on the street, but they let them go because, somebody was going to make money on it. So, you're right, government regulation is in there. When government regulates, it's so their cronies can profit.
Yeah, absolutely. And they are still reaping humongous profits off of their internet system. Sure, we've got a little bit of competition now. We've got you've got Verizon's FiOS, and you've got, I think, AT&T has a DSL type of system, but they're not everywhere.
AT&T in like the early 1980s, they could their worker, for the parent company, AT&T, not the Baby Bells or anything, but the parent company could send their work through the air to a unit in the worker's truck. And so when they freed them up, that was the big thing that propelled America, was cell phone and internet through the air. That's what made the big thing happen. I can remember vacationing many times in Jamaica in the 90s, and then after a layoff in 1998, I didn't go because I made a stop in Birmingham. But anyway, I embarked on a new career, and I went back to Jamaica trying to patch things up with my ex-wife in 2001, right before the September. It was like August of 2001. So the turn of events that happened. But everybody on that beach had a cell phone. I mean, you couldn't get away from it. It used to be a place where you could go and really relax and wind down, and then the cell phone got there. So, the money that's been made across the board, AT&T's assets, or total assets in the 1970s was like $5.some billion, and they were bigger than GM. So that tells you what the money has done in the time period when they unleashed all this technology. And, we haven't properly benefited the worker in America. And it's the factories closed in the South, and they moved to another country, and the Southern boys were really bad, but the Yankee boys could point to them and say, well, they done that to us when they moved the factory down there. But we don't have any mills in the country. We can't even make uniforms for our troops if we go to war. We don't have any small companies like they got in China that's doing exactly what they do. They make a part for this, and somebody else makes a part for that. They don't see what the big picture is, but they make that little part. We don't have that anymore.
Well, yeah, a lot of our stuff is manufactured someplace else. In fact, there was just something this morning that I ran across that showed pictures of the world's largest manufacturing facility located in China.
Yeah, well, Samsung thought that they could get their parts cheaper in China. You have just witnessed economic warfare.
Well, that is one of the things. We know that China is heavily subsidizing the manufacturing process over there.
Well, they're going to come out with their own, and everybody in Asia.
Oh yeah, they're ripping everybody off. I mean, let me.
Right. And see, the Clintons, they enabled the Chinese, and they are knee deep in Maoism, Satanism, occultism, whatever you want to call it. When they put Wiccan chaplains in the military, and you got Wiccan symbols in our cemeteries, our national cemeteries, and everybody goes around like it's diversity. Well, it's not diversity, because we were founded upon some principles wherein we trust in God. And
it's only diversity as long as they agree with it.
Doesn't mean that we should include them.
Yeah, but it's diversity as long as they agree with you. So if they disagree with you, well, then that's due to enlightenment. But if they agree with you, then that's diversity.
No, the college professors are like on about the fifth generation of tearing down America, and there's a massive gap in how people are educated and to people that think they're educated.
Well, yeah, I mean, just because you have a piece of paper doesn't make you an intelligent or learned person.
No, and the more money you pay for it, the bigger it gets. Come on, it's just absolute trash. We got professors with tenure, and what Al's saying about the VA hospital. Those people really need to, is it SEIU union that's in the VA hospital, or is it AFSCME? Which one is it? Because whatever it is, it's a real cancer.
SEIU, isn't that the educational union? That's the educational people.
No, that's a Service International.
Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. NEA is the...
That's why Clark County rules Nevada. It's because there's Californians working in Clark County, and they're members of SEIU. That's why the politics of Nevada is in jeopardy, and Harry Reid can coast around there. That's the problem.
Yeah, gotta love. Well, hey, look, their old man FDR said that government unions were a no-no.
Yeah, well, see, they used SEIU tactics, and now they're bringing the United Mine Workers tactics that Richard Trumka developed. Where you can whack somebody in the back of the head with a high-powered rifle and still skate because it's a labor dispute. Now, you tell me how that flies in America. What kind of lawyer got that done? And that's the problem. Are we a nation of laws or a nation of lawyers?
I think we've become a nation of lawyers.
Yep.
Hey, look, it's if you just look around, you can see it, how these people are able to write stuff that the rest of us, it's called legalese, the rest of us can't possibly understand, so we have to hire them to interpret it for us, and they can tell, one lawyer will tell one person that it means one thing, and then another lawyer will tell another person that it means something totally different, and then before you know it, these guys are reaping the benefits of having to go to court. And the only people that suffer are the clients. Lawyers never suffer.
All the time. No, you got to pay them up front. They like you better that way.
Yeah, that is true. Well, thank you so much, my friend. It's always a pleasure to speak with you.
Glad to see Al was there. I hope he's a regular caller for you, Rod.
Yeah, I really like talking to the representative. He's a spitfire.
Well, yeah, and his wife is a nice lady too. And I didn't know he had 7 kids, but on social media I saw he had a son down there in Florida running a pizza joint with his buddy and everything. And to me, that's America.
That is
small businesses, doing their little part to make things get done just a little bit better.
But 7 kids, though, that's a brave man.
Oh yeah, and make no doubt about it. There are many, many like him.
Yes, there are many large families in this country, and it's all about family. I mean, that's what countries are. That's how countries are made. Countries are made.
If we didn't have large families in homes where there was a mother and father, where would we be? The fact is that today, when you look at some of the entrepreneurs' obituaries, and they're 25 years old, and they have 6 daughters and 3 sons, and their mothers and fathers and stepfathers, and no one has the same name. This is a problem, and Trump and Al, they've managed to hold it on in their own respect, each in their own way. But they've had a larger family than the norm in America. We had to fix this because our best blood was aborted, and older people started having children late in life. And so this is why we have the America we have. It's our sin, and our sin has come home on us. The sin of our fathers has come home and poisoned the children. That's the way it is.
Well, I guess Reverend Wright was right in a sense. Our chickens have come home to roost.
Reverend Wright, that's another Marine, and he had gone off and become a black Muslim, and then come back to some kind of Christianity. And it's not a real Christianity. It's some communist.
It's called Black Liberation Theology, and
liberation theology is not always black.
No, but this is
in South America.
Yeah,
and now we have a South American Pope. So they're really dealing us, and it's massive, and it all boils down to the money.
Well, that's look. You know what they say: follow the money. Thank you so much for your call. I got to run and take this break, my friend.
Great job, Rod. Thanks, buddy.
Talk to you again. Bye-bye. Hang in there, folks. We're not done yet. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
One of the things that the last caller mentioned, he was talking about internet here in this country versus other countries. And there is this thing called call center from home. I see these ads all the time on when I'm on social media or other places on the net. And it looks promising. These, people are able to work from home. They have to have certain connections. And I've looked at half a dozen of these things, and they vary. You either need a Skype connection. Some of them require that you have a landline phone as well as a Skype, or you have to have a cell phone and Skype. It all boils down that most of them require that you at least have Skype. And you can be just about anywhere. The problem is what he just said. In some communities, especially if you're in a rural community, you need to have a certain bandwidth and speed. And if you don't have it, then their system won't work with you. It just won't work because it's too slow. And even though it is slow, well, here in the States, we don't have the fastest internet speeds across the globe. And that would shock a lot of people. It's the same with our cell phones. You know, we don't have the most reliable, fastest cell phone system in the world. Believe it or not, we don't. And much of the rest of the world is not compatible. If you go to Europe, for instance, with your cell phone, you've got to get a new, a different chip to put in your phone to make your cell phone work over there. Otherwise, you're roaming. And if your phone actually works with their system, it's going to cost you like the old days in cell phones. It's going to be like $1 or something a minute. It's going to be really expensive because their systems work differently from ours, and it's able to handle bandwidth in a different form than we do. Now, and again, we took a major leap forward when the government got out of the way of cell phone companies. Now, before, when cell phone companies first came on board, and it was like $1 or $2 a minute or something back in the early 90s, government regulated that there could only be 2 cell phone carriers within a particular market. You had what they called an A carrier and a B carrier. I know because I was in that industry. And that was it. This is going back to the days of something called Cellular One. Anybody remember that? Cellular One. Yeah, they've long since been bought and rebought and bought over, and I think now Cellular One is actually now part of Verizon. Yeah, back to the Cellular One days. Cellular One was the A carrier in the greater Boston area. And in the greater Boston area, I think AT&T was the B carrier until you got into New Hampshire. Then the B carrier was U.S. Cellular. And those were your only 2 choices. Well, 3 choices. And then government got out of the way and said, okay, everybody can be an A carrier now. We're not going to have this A and B type of thing. And then we start seeing the proliferation of other companies getting into the cell phone business. And how quickly did the price drop? And how quickly did coverage expand? It was pretty darn fast. It was really fast. Because government got out of the way and let business do what business does best. Bring product and service to the masses and lower prices so more and more people can afford it. For whatever reason, we have not done the same thing with our internet service. I have mentioned this before. You can go to London, England, has at least 10 different ISP companies competing for Londoners, dollars. And you can get internet speed faster than we have for about $10 a month, US. It's like £5.99, however they say that. It's about $10 a month. That's like the price of Netflix. You try getting any type of decent speed internet system here, it's going to cost you at least $50 or $60. Why? Because there's no competition. That's why. And these internet companies are not forced to innovate. That's why. Same goes for healthcare. No innovation, no competition, high price.
Premature birth is the #1 killer of babies. Those who survive often face birth defects and complications that affect them for life. For hundreds of thousands of families in the United States, this is the hardest thing they will ever have to face. And it's even harder on the baby. March of Dimes is providing education and support to families and funding life-saving research to give every baby a fighting chance. You can help. Do something today. Give them tomorrow at marchofdimes.org/tomorrow.
See that cute little dog in a pet store window? Chances are it came from a puppy mill, a breeding facility that forces caged, neglected, and often sick dogs to churn out puppy after puppy to be sold for profit. Meanwhile, millions of wonderful, healthy pets end up in animal shelters. This leads to the killing of more than 9,000 by the end of today. But with one simple choice, you can help, just by deciding to adopt instead of purchase your next pet. Animal shelters are full of amazing pets looking for a home. When you adopt your new best friend, not only are you saving a life, you're taking a stand against puppy mills. When your friends see the smart choice and impact you've made, they adopt their next pet and share with 5 of their friends, who share with 5 more. Before long, thousands get involved. Pet stores stop selling dogs from puppy mills, and even more lives are saved. And with your help, we can save them all. Visit bestfriends.org/puppymills to learn more.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
Thousands of families affected by disasters, like the recent wildfires, urgently need support. You can help the American Red Cross provide warm meals, shelter, and hope to families when they need it most. Please donate today to Red Cross Disaster Relief to help people affected by disasters, big and small. Go to redcross.org or call 1-800-RED-CROSS today. Your support is critical. We can't do it without you.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Were you born from 1945 to 1965? People born during these years are 5 times more likely to have hepatitis C. So even if you try to eat right, exercise, and take care of yourself, you could still have hepatitis C, a serious disease that's a leading cause of liver cancer. If you were born from 1945 to 65, you should get a blood test for hepatitis C. Treatments can cure this disease. Talk to your doctor about getting tested. A message from the CDC.
Hello there, this is Nat King Cole, wishing you all a happy and a Merry Christmas.
The joy of living is in the giving. So let's give lots of toys for tots.
Since 1947, the United States Marine Corps has been helping Santa fill his sleigh, making happier holidays for deserving children right in your community. Go to toysfortots.org and learn how you can make a difference.
The following program is closed captioned for the thinking impaired.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
I love it when a caller brings up a topic and a subject that is absolutely relevant to what's going on today, going into this new Trump administration, because he's going to have a lot on his plate. And one of the things that he's going to have to deal with is government over-regulation. Good morning. Welcome back, all of you fellow and wonderful liberty lovers all across the globe, and you beautiful ecclesiastites. Thanks for joining me here at the Bunkerize studio, which is located somewhere in the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is still live free or die. The call-in number this Monday morning, which happens to be November the 21st in the year of our Lord 2016, is 603-835-3226 as we kick off hour number 3 here on the Rod Eccles Show. And one of the things that Trump is going to have to, that he promises to get to, is all this government overregulation. Because overregulation, one, it stifles competition, and two, it stifles innovation. Now, one of the issues is with our current internet system. It's slow, it's expensive, and frankly, it is not all that reliable. I can't tell you how many times here at the Bunkerize studio we've had internet service or interrupted, not because of any of my equipment with inside my home, but from outside of it. But the whole cable industry is in an upheaval right now. I mean, you seeing ESPN losing, what was it? What's the number? 6 million subscribers somehow that they're losing. They're losing a ton of money. Other cable networks and are losing subscribers. Cable companies, people are cutting the cord, as they're calling it. You know, like we cut the cord to landline phones, which was really scary for some of the baby bells, because they were in no position at that particular point in time when that transition was happening. Because cell phones had become so cheap, and plans had become so cheap, and now they're even cheaper. And a lot of these baby bells are having a hard time competing. And then, of course, you had the VoIP aspect also cut into their business. You know, things like Skype and what's the other big one? You know, for $20 or $25 a month, you can make unlimited calls. You know, Skype is basically probably, what is it about? I don't know, maybe about $7 or $8 or $9 a month if you pay for the annual plan. It's really cheap, and it's cheaper than having a traditional landline. And they caught all of these baby bells, these landline companies, off guard because the transition happened so fast. And the same thing is going to be repeated with cable companies. They are betting that, if anything, you will keep your wired connection. They're not making plans to really do much outside of trying to improve the speeds of what they already have. Now, the problem with that is that if they want to go significantly faster, they're going to have to change a lot of their equipment, including in many areas the lines, the cable lines themselves are going to have to be changed in order to be able to handle the increased capacity and speeds. They're not making an effort to do that very much. But there's something on the horizon that I don't know if the cable companies are really paying attention to, because they don't seem to be getting in on it. But who is getting in on it and who's developing this is cell phone companies, because there's massive competition in the cell phone market. Now, right now, we're all kind of happy about having 4G. In fact, 4G has become so prevalent and so popular that most cell phone networks in this country have dropped supporting 3G. You have a 3G phone, it probably doesn't work in most areas of the country anymore. You know, pretty much like the old cell phones. Remember the StarTAC? You know, those were 1 and 2G phones. They don't work either. You can't get onto anybody's network with one of those legacy cell phones. It isn't going to work. They can't handle the protocol that's required for 4G. Well, in a couple of years, they're looking at rolling out something called 5G. Now, 5G is so fast, and the data stream can be so broad that it will be a direct competitor of every single ISP provider in this country. Now, here's how it stands. And I know a lot of people are saying, I can't wait. Now, understand that at first, the 5G phone is probably going, it's probably going to be pretty expensive. But here's the funny thing is that all you Apple iPhone people, Apple isn't working on a 5G phone right at the moment. You know who is? And who plans to have one and debut it at the 2018 Winter Olympics is Samsung. Yes, that Samsung, the maker of the Note 7 that spontaneously combust, which is why it's not allowed on aircraft. Well, they're working with companies on the protocol like Verizon and AT&T. For all you Sprint people, it doesn't look like Sprint's in on the game yet. And me being a longtime Sprint customer, no longer a Sprint customer, but being a longtime Sprint customer, I've noticed that Sprint has always been behind in the technology leap. When AT&T and Verizon were already at 4G, Sprint was still playing around with 3G. When Verizon and AT&T went to LTE, Sprint was just getting into 4G. They've always been behind. I don't know why that is. But if this 5G actually kicks in between 2018 and 2020, and Sprint's not in I don't think Sprint can survive. It's not going to be something that you can come late to this. That goes with all these cable ISP providers. They're not going to be able to come late to the game because it's going to be people are already cutting the cord to cable television. Can you imagine when they no longer have to keep cable TV in order to have a cheaper internet service when they don't need the internet service anymore? There is an upheaval coming in the way we communicate. And that's not due to government regulation. That is due to government being out of the way. Now, the only thing that's going to screw this up is if government gets in the way and regulates. But I don't think that's going to be happening with Trump. I don't think he's going to be getting in the way of people innovating like that. In fact, if there is a president who is going to be very pro-business, I think that is going to be Trump. Look, because part of what makes this country great is our innovation and our business. And if he removes a lot of this over ridiculous regulation that is going to allow companies to reinvest, to innovate, and to grow like you would not believe. Look, Reagan did that in the 80s. And I know you got the liberal left who try to rewrite history by saying, oh, the 80s weren't great for everybody. Well, no, it wasn't. There were some people that got left behind. But not due to lack of opportunity, because it was all around them. They chose to get left behind. The same thing's going to happen with Trump. There are going to be people that get left behind, not because there won't be opportunity for them, but because they'll choose to not take advantage of that opportunity. And I'm not just talking about starting a business or innovating a current business, or I'm talking about even just getting a job at a growing business. There are people that just won't move to do it. They'll expect it somehow to come just drop in their lap, and it's not going to happen. I'm excited about the next 4 years. I am not a soothsayer. I'm not a fortune teller. I cannot look into the future and tell you that everything is going to be, all roses and hunky-dory. Especially since the liberals will be fighting it tooth and nail. I mean, you got Elizabeth Warren out there saying that she's going to oppose Donald Trump every single day. And you got Chuck Schumer out there vowing tough vetting for all of Trump's cabinet picks, especially Sessions. Oh, we're going to vet him hard, man. We're going to vet him hard. You've got all of these people, especially on the left, most of them on the left, that want to keep the status quo in Washington. They want to keep the overburdensome regulations, the high taxes. They want to keep innovation at a crawl. Now, we've already seen in certain areas and industries, innovation take off, even with all the burdensome regulation. Can you imagine if that's reduced? For all you liberals out there who like alternative energy like solar power, can you imagine if government gets out of the way and lets that industry truly blossom on its own? Now, don't get me wrong. Solar is not going to replace petrochemicals as our mainstay and source of electrical power. It's not viable enough to do that. But we are getting innovations in that area. Look at Tesla. Tesla's got something new coming out for all you solar freaks. It's a solar roofing shingle. And it looks like a real shingle. It doesn't, they have solar shingles out there, but they're basically solar panels that are miniature and shaped in the form of a shingle and you put on your roof. But no, Tesla is actually coming out with something that is a true shingle. It looks like one. You can't tell the difference between a regular shingle and it's going to look more. It's going to look more like a slate roof, I guess. From the pictures I've seen, it looks more like a stone type of a shingle, like a slate roof. That's innovation. Can you imagine if it's going to cost about the same as a slate roof or a tiled roof. And they're making them to look like tiles too. The terracotta tile roof. They're also making a solar shingle that looks like a terracotta tile roof. Well, that's innovation. And if it's going to cost about the same as a slate or tiled roof, but you get the benefit of basically free electricity, well, that roof will pay for itself. And the more that type of technology gets adopted, the cheaper that roof is going to become. Now, can you imagine if houses all over the country that have shingles on their roofs start switching to this? Well, you won't need as many centralized power plants. That should make you wonderful environmentalist wackos very happy. Every home could become its own power plant. But that's not government doing that. It's private innovation trying to work within the confines of the restrictions of government regulation and government overregulation in order to bring something to market that the people will want. And that kind of innovation, when you don't have government getting in the way, like just about everywhere else on the planet, is going to allow the United States to once again to be the world's largest economy and the world's greatest innovative nation. You want to lead, you lefties want to lead the world in green energy? Get out of the way. That's how you're going to lead. You want all these so-called high-paying green energy jobs that Obama promised that never came to fruition, while at the same time he cost a lot of people in the old-fashioned, the old standard type of energy industry to lose their jobs, like coal miners. Then get out of the way. You'll get what you think you're asking for. And you'll get it faster, you'll get it bigger, and you'll get it better than you ever imagined if you get government out of the way. See, the problem with the left is they don't even realize it, even though we tell them on a daily basis. Their problem is they're actually their own worst enemy, not the right. You're listening to me, your lovable host, L. Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide. Plus, what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stocking. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, click to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
Just to give you a little bit of background information on this new potential 5G stuff, and depending on the reports or where you go to get the information, you have anywhere from it beginning to come available to the public between 2018 and 2022. I understand it's a 4-year difference. I understand that, but this is a complicated piece of technology that they're trying to develop here. But what it means to you, for you, is that download speeds, instead of the 100 megabytes per second that's currently delivered by 4G, you'd get 10 gigabytes per second. Now, what that really means is, and again, I'm not a technophile, but when they broke it down and said, okay, let's take a typical 100-minute movie that's slightly over an hour and a half. And a lot of movies are running close to 2 hours today. But average 100 minutes. Today, if you're trying to download that on your phone, depending on your network and where you are, it could take you up to 20 to 30 minutes to download that movie. 5G means that within less than a minute you'd have it. Do you see why? And you're not connected by a wire. Can you imagine having your laptop or your iPad connected to your 5G network? You're at home, you call an Uber, get in the Uber, and you don't get interrupted. Your signal stays wherever you go within your coverage area. You don't have to worry about that. The companies won't have to. Here's the other problem. Your favorite coffee house or tea house or sandwich shop, they won't need to have internet access for you, Wi-Fi. No, you'll be able to get it anyway. And it'll be faster. And the potential for this is really, it is a game changer, and it is going to be a game changer. And I know, Dad probably got a lot of people, their mouths are watering for this. What is it going to be here? We got to get it fast. Well, you got to be patient. It's coming fast, but not as fast as we'd like, obviously. But it is coming. Again, I'm not one of those technophiles, and they're saying that the reason that 5G will be so big, so fast, that we may not see 6G. There may be no need for it. Now, I would like to say that's somebody's going to come along and say, yeah, well, now we got 6G, which is even faster than 5G. And you know how we are. You can get it faster. Humans want it. So if you can download a movie, if it takes a minute to download a movie, and you come along with 6G and it's only going to take you 10 seconds, yeah, that's what everybody wants then. They want 10 seconds versus 60 seconds. Hey, it's all about saving time, right? You can't get that time back once you spent it. Is there a limit? Well, I suppose if the limit is instantaneous, then yeah, there are limits to how fast we can go with that kind of stuff. Instantaneous is pretty fast, though. Is that 7G?
The Red Cross responds to nearly 66,000 disasters every year, most of them house fires. Red Cross President and CEO Gail McGovern says you need to develop an evacuation plan and practice it, especially with your children. It takes just 2 minutes for a home to be engulfed in flames.
Practice those drills. We all think our kids know what to do. They don't. We need to teach them. We have started a large campaign where we're going into vulnerable communities and helping install smoke alarms. Already 92 lives were saved, and 4 of those lives were saved by a 5-year-old girl who remembered what we taught them during these fire drills, and she got her family out. We also have a slew of free apps that people can download onto their smartphones. It's what to do in every kind of disaster you can imagine, how to prepare and how to recover.
To help support all the Red Cross does and to make a financial donation, go to redcross.org. That's redcross.org.
I'm just so happy my father had a chance to see his kids before he passed. I just want to say thank you.
When her father fell ill, the American Red Cross was able to help get Veronica's brother home from the Navy to speak to his father one last time. It's thanks to your donations that we can connect military families when they need it most. Please donate today at redcross.org.
It's Thursday night, and you're grabbing drinks with some friends. Started off with a pitcher for the table, which quickly becomes 2. There's pool. And there's the photo booth.
All right, everybody squeeze in. Say cheese!
Followed naturally by an order of wings. And another.
Can we get some extra ranch sauce?
Then there's the ceremonial nightcap.
So what are we doing this weekend?
And lastly, it's back to the car, which, if you're buzzed, could be the most expensive night of your life. Getting pulled over for buzz driving could cost you around $10,000 in fines, legal fees, and increased insurance rates. Nothing kills a buzz like getting pulled over for buzz driving, because buzz driving is drunk driving. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps demonstrate their commitment to defend the American way of life. Since 1775, we have served our nation as a force in readiness. From combat operations to humanitarian assistance in every corner of the world. No matter where the mission takes us today, or wherever our country needs us tomorrow, we always remember the land we call home. As Marines, we take a stand for each other, for our nation, for us all. The few, the proud, the Marines.
I considered suicide so I wouldn't put my family through all the pain.
Many of our warriors are returning home from the battlefield, only to face a new war as they struggle with devastating injuries. At Wounded Warrior Project, we understand. We're there to help.
Even though you think you're broken, you're not. It's the physical and the emotional healing that Wounded Warrior Project provides.
With a gift of just $19 a month, you can join Wounded Warrior Project. You'll help provide critically needed programs and services that rebuild lives.
Beautiful. There you go, buddy.
The ongoing needs of our wounded and their families will continue for many years to come. Now is the time to show your support. Call now or go online with your gift of just $19 a month, and we'll send you this Wounded Warrior Project blanket.
It made me feel that there's people out there that care about us.
After this event, we can finally maybe start to heal as a family and move forward.
We need your help. The families are hurting.
For many of our wounded heroes, the greatest casualty is being forgotten. That's why your gift of just $19 a month is so important. Please, call or go online right now.
603-835-3226. You know, one of the things that the left should be happy about is this, getting to 5G. It would mean a lot less wires running around. That would help save the planet, right? And we wouldn't have to, use some of our precious metals like copper. That would probably crash the copper market price. Because most wiring has some copper content in it at least. That would really be bad for copper, actually, copper industry. But that would be better to help save the planet than this next one. Whatsupwiththat.com. I'm thinking to myself, this has got to be a fake news story, right? That type of fake news that supposedly Facebook and Google and Twitter succumbed to during the past election season. But no, this is the real deal. There are UK researchers. Now you're probably thinking, well, what's the UK got to do with us? Because look, East Anglia University that had the fake climate change stuff. You remember those emails? Well, that affects us. Well, here's another wonderful idea coming out of the liberal minds of the United Kingdom. Supposedly, they've done research on this, and they've come up with this conclusion to help fight climate change. In order to reduce climate change, tax all food. Food. Like air, the very thing you need to live. So let's see. Government in some states in this country, hard to believe, I'm saying this about America. Basically, government says they own all the water, you don't, and you can't even collect it in a rain barrel off your roof. So you need water, but no, you can't collect it. You got to buy it. Can't get it for free. You got to buy it. And now you got these jokers talking about, well, in order to fight climate change, let's tax all food. And by doing so, you're going to be pricing food according to its climate impact. And you can save 500,000 lives and 1 billion tons of greenhouse gas emissions. So in other words, because what's really the big climate change no-no? Well, meat, specifically chicken and beef. So if you want to go to the grocery store, if they were to have their way, that $6 or even that turkey, the Thanksgiving turkey dinner is the average price of turkeys is about $20. Well, if they had their way with this tax, that $20 turkey would now be about $35. You know that steak that you like to have at least once a week, it's $9, whatever kind of steak that is, for $9. Well, double it. The reason is, if it costs you more, you won't buy it as much. And if you don't buy as much, then they won't raise as much. If they don't raise as much, well, then there'll be less greenhouse gases emitted by cows that are farting. I kid you not, folks. Taxing greenhouse emissions from food production could save more emissions than are currently generated by global aviation and lead to 500,000 fewer deaths from chronic diseases, according to a new study published in Nature Climate Change. The study was conducted by a team of researchers from the Oxford Martin Program on the Future of Food at the University of Oxford and the International Food Policy Research Institute in Washington, D.C. Still don't think there's a connection because it's in the UK? It is the first global analysis to estimate the impacts that levying emissions prices on food could have on greenhouse gas emissions and human health. So we're just going to tax you into starvation. That's the way to save the planet, by keeping you from eating. And, folks, I'm not making this stuff up. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. I know I say it often, but that's the truth. I can't make this stuff up. I mean, absolutely incredible. Hey, those cows, man, they're destroying the planet. All that greenhouse gas that they're farting out of their tushies, and all the costs that's related to feeding them and housing them. Oh, and transporting that meat to the grocery store. We need to cut that down. Yeah. So how we're going to do it is by putting a tax on greenhouse emissions from the processing of certain kinds of foods like beef. So we'll just price it out of the reach of the average human being. So basically, it's what they want to do is get to a point where only the rich can afford chicken and beef. And then what are you going to have? You're going to have all these lefties running around talking about how the rich are destroying the planet because they have too much money that they can buy beef, steak. Yeah, that would happen. If they actually got their way, that's exactly what would happen. You'd have these little minds full of mushers running around talking about veganism and vegetarianism and all that kind of stuff. The hell with that. I like a good steak. I'm an omnivore. I eat vegetables. I eat plant material and I eat animal material. And I like them both. And they both have health benefits, by the way. Real Clear Politics is reporting Obama. I had to pause there because as many times as I go over this and read this, I still can't believe how right I am about this. Reporter to Obama. Will you be more like Bush and not criticize your successor? Obama. I will if necessary. Translation. You betcha. This guy ain't going anywhere. He is going to be like Bill Clinton, but worse, and insert himself into everything that Donald Trump is going to try to do. Hey, you can't do that. I mean, look what he's doing over there. He's dismantling my legacy. He's taking this apart and that apart, and he's trying to get rid of that and get rid of this. And I'm telling you, it's going to make me look bad. So President Obama has asked if he will be like former President George W. Bush and pledge to stay out of politics and not criticize decisions made by his successor. Has anybody ever else really understood or noticed that in the last, 50 years or so, it has been living former Democrat presidents that won't go away? Ronald Reagan did not come out of hiding and start disparaging his successors. Neither did George H.W. Bush. And then we got Clinton. He didn't go away. We had Carter. He didn't go away. He's still around. He's still meddling in things that he shouldn't be meddling in. Then we had Bush. Bush basically, for at least the first 4 years of Obama's presidency, his first term, you would have thought George W. Bush dropped off the face of the earth. You didn't hear anything. We heard more from Laura Bush, who did not talk about politics, than we did from George W. Bush, which is really highly unusual. It was like, I guess George was just busy painting. I guess he's a really good artist. I've seen some of his work. It's pretty good. But he went into painting and didn't talk. And now you got Obama, who's already telling everybody, yeah, I ain't going anywhere. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be looking over his shoulder every single day while Elizabeth Warren is over there, actively being against Trump. I'm going to be actively criticizing Trump. You know it. So The current president was also asked if he believes he may be the last Democrat president for a while. Former President Bush said earlier this year he feared he would be the last Republican president. Well, I guess that changed pretty darn quick, didn't it? And if Trump is able to get even a quarter of what he said he wanted to do done and passed, even if he doesn't run for re-election, you're looking at another Republican president in 2020, be it Pence or... I think at this point it's probably safe to say that as long as Pence stays healthy, he's the favored. But then again, Cruz could come back. But Cruz still has to mend fences with a lot of the people that he, on the right, that just didn't like his brand of conservatism, I guess. Yeah, but they didn't like Trump's brand either. But look, he's now the president-elect. So there you have it. Obama is not going anywhere. Even when he leaves the White House, he's gonna be what's the term? Gone but not out, or gone but not done, but gone but not gone. He's gonna leave, but he won't be gone. I just want them to go away, just like I want the Clintons to go away. Look, I hope Hillary does what she says that she wanted to do at when she came out of hiding. And said all she wanted to really do was just curl up with a good book. Yeah, you go ahead and do that. I will buy you a Book of the Month Club subscription if that's going to keep you out of our hair. I know you can afford, to buy a bookstore on your own if you wanted to, but I will be more than happy to get you a membership into the Book of the Month Club. What kind of books do you like, Hillary? What do you want to read? I will get you a Book of the Month Club subscription for that. Seriously. I'll make it happen. If that's going to keep her out of our hair, out of Washington, out of politics for the rest of her days, then I will do it. Caveat is that you and Bill can never, ever come back. Never. What about Chelsea? I hate to say this, but I would like to believe that Chelsea's not going anywhere. But she is a Clinton. So it is highly possible that within the next decade we could be looking at Chelsea running for public office, which would be a complete and utter nightmare. But there you have it. And you can't say she wouldn't win. I was convinced that Hillary wasn't going to win the Senate seat in New York, but hey, she did. So, you never, the amount of stupidity that is out there in the voting public never ceases to amaze me. Hey, we elected Obama not once, twice. First time, I can understand it. Second time, you knew what the guy did. Why would you want him to continue for another 4 years? And they're still out there counting votes and trying to say that Hillary won the popular vote. Hillary won the popular vote. And she's even got a bigger lead than we first thought. And every time they say that, there's another report coming out about confirmed voter fraud. So the reality is, by the time we get done adding up all this voter fraud and they get done adding up all the votes, it looks like that if you take out the voter fraud votes, which most of them are going to go for Hillary Clinton, that she will have actually lost the popular vote as well. Look, we already know that there's and they're investigating some 3 million illegal votes across the country. Well, she didn't even win by 1 million on the popular vote side. So just simple math would tell you that Hillary lost by 2 million. The popular vote. See, they even tried to cheat and they still couldn't win. That's pretty bad. When you have perfected the ability to cheat, and you cheat on a massive scale, and you still didn't win. That's pretty impressive for the rest of the country not falling for this garbage and getting out there and actually preventing the the cheating from happening. By the way, are you a Starbucks fan? I'm still not a Starbucks fan, but I'm looking at this current story on Starbucks, and I'm thinking, I don't know. We probably shouldn't do this, but yes, we should. People are going into Starbucks now, and they're calling it the percolator protest. You're not hearing this from local media outlets here in this country. This is coming from the Daily Mail. Republican voters are fight election backlash by going into Starbucks and telling baristas that their name is Trump. So they have to shout the name Trump when their cup of Joe is ready. Now, we probably shouldn't do that. Yes, we should. Because we shouldn't gloat. It's not gloating. So Trump supporters are posting pictures of Starbucks coffee with the hashtag Trump Cup to protest discriminating against Republicans. Trump supporters have been telling baristas their name is Trump because there are other people besides the Donald J. Trump family whose last name is Trump. Really, I've reported to you a guy out in Oregon who's had a problem with that, and he's not even related to Trump. The baristas must write it on the cup and shout it out loud when ready. Now, some have noted that the protest is only giving Starbucks more money. It is. But it's worth seeing the faces on everybody's faces, the looks on everybody's faces in the Starbucks when they do that. It really is. However, those behind the protest say the point is to cause a statement and to somebody's going to get hurt. Still do it. So I am not advocating that you go into Starbucks. I really am. And you say your name is Trump. I'm still not going to give Starbucks my money, but you should. And I'm not going into Starbucks at all. Oh my goodness. You people crack me up. Yeah. And by the way, the FBI is warning of Thanksgiving attacks. So, and this is their annual holiday warning. But it is something that you should take seriously. So, if you see something serious, then you sure should say something. And Pence, Vice President-elect Mike Pence, is assuring people that Trump will repeal Obamacare, and he will go to work on doing that on day one. Now, there is an accompanying story about this, and that is that insurance companies are actually spooked by this. Now, you think of health insurance companies. They thought they were going to have all this money in perpetuity. Now, Trump comes along and says, well, maybe not. Obama repeal plan stokes fears of market collapse. This is from Politico. Repealing the law without a replacement would be likely to spook health insurers who might bolt from the markets prematurely to avoid heavy losses. Well, a lot of them are already bolting because they're coming up on heavy losses. But hey, I guess now it's going to be, like I said, it's going to be Trump's fault. All this stuff didn't work. We'll be back to wrap it up in just a second. You're listening to me, your lovable host, Rod, here on the Rod Eccles Show.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
We've all heard of male enhancement, but now there's an expert on true male enhancement in the areas that really count. In Herb Ellis's book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, you'll find answers to questions like, why doesn't she want to have sex? A quick start, quick results workout guide, plus what you can do as a side hustle to make money now. With all the great tips in this book, every man can benefit. Get the book, Husband 2.0, Real Male Enhancement, on Amazon.com.
This holiday season, help Soldiers for Stockings improve the morale and welfare of members of our armed forces deployed overseas. Now through November 20th, there is so much work to be done, and you can help in many ways. Download the stocking pattern from stockingsforsoldiers.org and start sewing today. Volunteer to help decorate and assemble stockings. Donate Christmas candies, snacks, nuts, chips, drink mixes, DVDs, books, magazines, lip balm, toiletries, and other items needed to fill the stockings. Or help make packets of snowman soup, hot chocolate, to send along with the stockings. For more information, patterns, and a list of items needed, visit stockingsforsoldiers.org. This holiday season, help send our troops a touch of home. For many, it's all they will receive. All stockings need to be completed by November 20th. So get started today at stockingsforsoldiers.org. That's stockingsforsoldiers.org. Stockings for Soldiers, sending stockings filled with joy to our soldiers in harm's way for the 9th consecutive year.
You know, sometimes I need more than 3 hours to get through all the stuff I have in my paper pile. I got some important stuff here. Quickly, we have U.S. climate commitment, according to Francois Hollande of France, warns Donald Trump that it's irreversible. Well, I don't think you can tell Donald that it's irreversible, because it's not irreversible. We can get out of it, and he's going to find a way to do it, and we're all going to be better for it. By the way, they arrested 7 people that thwarted a potential new plot against Paris, terrorist plot, and he's worried about climate change. These people are a force of nature themselves, I guess. But plans to pension funds in Los Angeles, California, is close to becoming a microcosm of Greece. That's right, Greece on a city scale in Los Angeles, because their pension cost is bankrupting the city, and they're trying to take measures to save money, and those wonderful people who get pensions and who will get pensions are saying, don't touch my pension. In fact, don't reduce my pension. Give me more in my pension. But there's no money. So, well, hey, if the city goes bankrupt and the state of California takes over, there goes all your pension funds. So people better pay attention to that. Really. All this, and these are, it's really former government employees that are demanding all this pension stuff. It's insane. It's absolutely insane. And finally today, the Pope has become God, the Pope of the Catholic Church, because he is now giving power to priests to forgive Catholics who have abortions. Not God. The Pope is now giving priests this power. I didn't know the Pope could give that. Had that kind of power to give, actually. I thought only God could forgive. But, now the Catholic Church, if you're Catholic and have an abortion, you can be absolved of your sin, according to the Pope. Well, that's it for today, folks. I got a lot more for you tomorrow as well, so be back here. Until then, thanks for tuning in. I'm Rod Eccles. This has been The Rod Eccles Show. I'm out.